Okay, so what is this video about? We got a Model 94 3030 Winchester, the most classic, iconic gun of the West. And if you're anything like me, I really like lever actions. And I'm big into hunting and stuff, as you can probably tell by the channel. I like to shoot quite a bit too. But this gun piqued my interest. I used to have one in a 32 special, and it was just so expensive to shoot because you can't really find dies, or the ammunition, if you can find it, is extremely expensive. So I got rid of it. And ever since then, I regretted getting rid of it. And then the opportunity to buy this gun came up. So the story behind this thing was, the guy who owned it, this is a 72, he bought it brand new. He let it sit in his closet for almost freaking 35 years and hardly used it at all. So it got a little bit of pitting and stuff for moisture sitting there. And since I've owned it, I've been using it, so it's getting a little bit more thrashed. But this thing was in really good shape when I got it. But I took it backpack hunting, and that's what striked the whole reason for this video. So on your stereotypical Model 94, you have iron sights. I took the front hood off, and on the back it has like a buckhorn style sight. But on most models, this one included, this is only just the leaf to hold the rear aperture for the sight. And when I had this strapped to my backpack, somewhere along the lines, just from it shifting around, two little screws that sandwich that sight onto here broke. And I mean, I can still use it, I can still shoot it as is, but it's just not very accurate anymore because you have no fine point of aim. I looked into getting a new rear sight for this thing. It is quite expensive to just get this piece. I mean, you can't even buy it. You literally have to buy brand new fronts, brand new rears, the whole setup just to get the one piece I needed. And it got me thinking, like, I really have always struggled shooting iron sights in low light. I mean, I'm talking to the eye doctor about this. I guess I have not very good cones in my eyes to pick up light at low light. There's nothing I can do about it. So I would lose this, and because of that, I really wouldn't take this gun hunting all that much, especially for like local timber hunting and stuff, because there's hunt a lot of low light days, and I don't want to be hunting around trying to find the sights when the buck of a lifetime is standing in front of you. So I always sat in the house. But 30-30, very gentle shooting caliber. It has like very little recoil to none, in my opinion. Some people may say otherwise, but this gun, it's like a 200-yard and in deer gun, and it's killed probably more deer than anything else on the continent of North America. It's been around for forever. It was essentially like the first smokeless cartridge ever developed, which is pretty cool. And just to have one, it just feels like I'm back in time running the John Wayne movies, you know? Like, I spent a lot of time watching that stuff when I was a kid. But I've come up with a solution to fix the problem. So I'm gonna bring this gun, such a classic, iconic rifle of North America and the West, into the 21st century. And a lot of you, it may make you cringe because culture is in North America against doing this sort of thing. It's kind of like a faux pas almost. Like, people look at it and be like, oh, why did you do that? But like, in reality, it's just gonna make this thing so much better and so much more enjoyable to shoot. So I've already punched this off, and we're saying goodbye to the rear sight for the foreseeable future, because we got something fancy coming for this guy. And just like that, look at what we got. Something that is going to change the game. That's right, the lever action is getting a red dot. And I'll show you how I'm gonna do it, because this is very unconventional and it took a little while to figure it out. Oh, and just like that, it's on there. We'll get into what exactly this optic is now, and I'll tell you a little bit more about how I have it mounted up. But after that, we'll take this out today and we'll go get it zeroed and see how this thing works on here. First impressions though, it points really well. It doesn't make my head come up super high. It's gonna be way faster than irons, and this brings the Model 94 into the 21st century. Gonna make this a way more useful tool in the woods, especially when it comes to hunting. With that being said, let's get into the Halosun mod for this gun. Pretty excited about it. All right, this is the beginning of a new adventure for the old 3030. And what's in the box, you might say? Well, this package is from SRS Tactical in Alberta. They're a Halosun dealer, and Holosuns up here in Canada seem to be kind of hard. Oh, that was nice of them. See, like, here's something I'll say about SRS is that I talked to these guys on the phone. I put an order through them over the phone, and the customer service was really good, and he helped me sort out a whole bunch of questions I had, and it was pretty good shit. So we'll get that out of here. So in here we have a new optic for a very old school gun. This is a Holosun 403c. HS403c. It's a 2 MOA red dot. It comes with a low and a high rise mount. And from all of my nerding and reading on the internet, these things seem to be quite well praised by the firearms community. So this one in particular has solar, so it will run without a battery in daylight. Not to the highest extent that it would with a battery, but with a battery in there, they claimed it'll get like 50,000 hours. So they make a bunch of different models that are all very similar to this. Some have a circular, like 60 MOA circle around the dot. Others can go from red to green. This one though, for the money, it was $293, and because Alberta's awesome, it was 14 bucks in tax. So $308 in total. I think if that math's right off the top of my head. Let's take a peek at this guy. Nice foam. Oh, their warranty card. I'm definitely gonna do this after we're done recording. So your frequently asked questions guide about how it works, yada yada, how to install it. You don't need any of that. And your little owner's manual. Oh, they give you a cleaning cloth. Kind of unexpected for this guy. And some silica. I'm actually doing some reloading right now, so this can go in with some bullets. And the main optic itself. So it does come with the high-rise mount installed, and it has these little covers, which I'm going to use for now. But one of the main reasons for getting this particular optic is this thing is going to go on a 3030 for hunting. They make, for this model in particularly, because it has this little edge, they make clamp-on flip caps, and I need to track some of those down. They might be kind of hard to get here, but nonetheless, that'll be pretty important, because I plan on using this in the winter when it's snowing and stuff. And I feel like by not having these, if you get these lenses covered in snow, you're not gonna be able to see much of anything. So it's got capped adjustments, and they're not marked, so you're gonna have to just fly by the wire and move it as it goes. Pretty sure the manual will tell you what the adjustments mean, but they're easy to get at, easy enough. Some of the other ones I looked at, like they have like little bits raised up in the frame to keep these from getting whacked, but realistically on like a hunting rifle, it's not gonna matter. That's your battery tray, and these two buttons are your brightness. So this is something I also didn't know about this thing. So it has an auto mode when it's running on solar, and the 403c, while it's in auto mode, will automatically adjust the brightness of the reticle to adjust to the ambient lighting. The brighter it is, the higher the dot intensity. The solar panel on top of the optic is both an optical source of light and a light controlling sensor. So that is like pretty freaking cool. If the lighting is insufficient, the sight will automatically switch to battery power when it's not using sunlight. So very, very efficient little design. But And the rest of it is all just like general info. It shows you how to put the battery in here in your little owner's manual, and it tells you to which directions of rotation there are on top of them being labeled in case you don't read, so it shows you where they are. And it has a limited lifetime warranty, which is pretty cool. And I definitely got these little screws in here very torqued down. That's one thing I will say. Like, that was a lot of force in this little Allen key. These must be Loctited on here, which I guess is kind of cool, because right out of the box, if you were to put this on like something with straight pick rail, whether it's like a bolt gun or an AR or something like that, that it's kind of already set up. I mean, you could double check the torque specs, but these things are tight nonetheless. I'll spare you me taking this off, and I'll put the low mount on here in a second. Here's an interesting note upon taking that mount off. So if you see in the holes, whatever type of Loctite they put in there, it literally almost looks like they used glue. I've never seen clear Loctite like that, but nonetheless, it took quite a bit of force to break those loose. So just make sure you put some pressure on this if you're gonna take the mount off, because like downward pressure, because it'd be easy to strip these little tiny guys out. All the screws on the mounts are the same, whether it's the low or the high, and then the mounting points to the actual optics. So yeah, well, just be careful if you're gonna swap these out. Read the owner's manual, something that most people may or may not do, but hold this button for 3 seconds, and now it goes into hybrid mode, so I can run the battery and the solar. And it has 12 brightness settings, so it has a couple that are so dim you can hardly see them. I don't think this one is rated for night vision, but the brightest one has a lot of bloom. And I don't know if the camera I'm looking at right now is picking it up as like a pretty bloomed out dot, but for a lot of people, when they look at these things, they don't see a dot, they see like a fuzzy star because of astigmatism. I'm one of those people, but I just get used to looking at it, and you just pick a point off of it and use that. So I think this will be a great addition to this thing. So one thing I will say just right away is that my biggest concern with this thing was gonna be the clarity of the glass, because I have a SIG and it's okay, but especially on snow it looks very blue. Obviously the dot's not going to be super bright because it's just running off solar, and that is a thing, but gives you a very nice fine point aim. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is very little color difference between the grass in real life and through the sight. Like, very ever so slightly a tinge of blue. Like, you can hardly even tell it's there on the snow, which is nice. So not an issue in any way, shape, or form in that sense. It is really clear. I don't know why there's such a stigma, I guess, in Western society with running stuff like this on hunting rifles, or just in general on a bolt gun or anything besides a semi-automatic. But these things are really nice to use. They're extremely user-friendly. They are extremely easy to adjust and set up. And as long as you can see what you're looking at, if you got good lighting and you don't really need the magnification, I mean, 30-30 is a close range caliber anyways. So it's gonna give you 10 times better target identification, and you'll actually be able to see what you're shooting at. Very excited about this guy. Pretty cool. It'll be sick to get it on the gun and go do some shooting. That is the Halosun HS403c, the solar model. What are you dishing?
Making chili.
Making chili?
Some chili on a piece of cheese.
Okay. I'll eat some cheese. But the whole point of getting this thing is it's gonna go on this. So this is a Sun Optics mount for the Model 94. And I didn't film it because it was a pain in the ass and I was using a Dremel and whatever, but you have to tap the rear sight out on this gun to the right because it's kind of slotted dovetail, and the screw that it comes with that indexes the dovetail on the sight. I'll see if I can go find an Allen key to show you what this is all about, but this Sun Optics mount, the actual screw for it that went into the barrel was like way too big. So I have used some calipers and I actually had to take like 40 thousandths off of it to make it fit in here. And now that it fits in here, I mean, it's fine. But I think in mounting this thing, because it's only the one screw, the best place to mount it is definitely going to be right over top of that screw, just to avoid any type of movement. I mean, the rail is designed so that you could probably mount a scope on here, and probably like a scout style scope, but you don't need to have, like, I wouldn't want to put the optic way back here on this diving board because it's not secured. So I'm going to put it up front here. That should bring my head up on this thing so you won't be so sucked tight to the bore, which will kind of give you the opportunity to do two things. You'll be able to shoot both eyes open really easily, and you get to keep your head up to see what the hell is going on when you're out in the woods. So that is a pretty cool mount and system to sight on this thing. I'll have to try and look up what the model is, or the part number is for this, because this thing was hard to find for me. I had to order it from the distributor. The distributor had 70 for Canada wide, so if you're interested in doing something similar with the same mount, you kind of get the ins and outs. But I made it so it has a little bit of play. You can fit in there just so it's not super tight. Like you have to push it just that last little bit. But in the beginning, this screw was fanned out so much that there was no way it was gonna fit. So I just kept taking measurements, and then I tapered it with a Dremel to be the same size. I have a little bit of bluing downstairs I'm gonna throw on that just so that it doesn't rust, but it only goes in here one way. So I tapered it so that it fits. So there's a little bit of fitment you have to do yourself, and I'm pretty sure when I read the description it said some fitment may be required, so that's fine. But that's all it holds this thing on. It slides into that dovetail. There's a singular mount on this rail. It's contoured to fit the barrel, and you lay it on top, and that's it. Throw this guy on top, grab our little screw, throw him in there. And one thing I was going to try and change on this, just because I personally think it would have been a better design, is if they made this a little bit lower profile. I understand why they didn't, just so that there's more threads in the dovetail mount to grab and hold this thing onto the barrel. But the 94 has a pretty low comb, and because it's meant to be used for irons, obviously. So putting this thing on the barrel right now, it's basically sitting at the height of the irons, and then this optic is going to add like another ½ an inch to that, to the center. So you're gonna have to pick your head up a little bit to use it, but we'll throw this guy on there and see what she looks like. Like I was saying before, singular point of attachment, right? And the only way you can really line this thing up, because it does have a little bit of wiggle room back and forth, is to measure off of the action with a set of calipers. I did that the first time, and I'll probably do it again after this video, but for now, I just eyeballed her. You can look down the sight and kind of figure it out for yourself. But I think I'm gonna mount it basically right here, which is the closest slot to being directly over top of that screw. Oh, that's holding it on to the bore. Oh, actually, I didn't even get this on here all the way. This guy's got a slide on here. There we go. Now to line this up, put the screw in, move this guy all the way forward, pull him forward and you're screwing it on for the recoil. Snug it up for now. But yeah, that way it's going to give me the most amount of direct attachment to the bore, considering it's just one screw. But if we take a look now, you don't go to this side, should be able to see that she's on there. So shift her around, typical red dot fashion, and you're basically sitting right where my head needs to sit, which isn't really all that high if you're looking at it through the camera. So this is going to be great because now you can shoot both eyes open. You just have a little bit of black around the dot and you can see everything that's going on versus trying to like focus on keeping irons lined up. Now you just have this nice clean dot. There's going to be a little bit of parallax shift on your impact point, especially if you're out on the sides. But as long as you keep this thing like pretty much centered, you're good to go. You'll hit whatever you're shooting at, especially within 100 yards. So that's pretty sweet. Bringing the lever actions into the 21st century. Just so you can get an idea for height over bore. So it comes up obviously like really fast. This would be the difference. If I was looking down irons, my face would be kind of down here and I'm looking basically right over top of the hammer. Whereas if I'm running the dot, my head is a little bit more upright, which is actually pretty comfortable. It brings it right here along my jaw versus way down on my cheekbone, pretty close to my glasses actually. So yeah, it should be pretty fast. Looking forward to shooting this thing. All right, so we went for a rip and we got a target set up out here at 25 yards. So we're gonna take the first shots with this thing. I got a bunch of mixed ammo I'm gonna use just to sight it in, and then I got about 40 of these to do some shooting afterwards. But it's a beautiful day, not super windy, almost not a cloud in the sky. It's been pretty cold lately, so only like -2 or 3 out here right now. We came out to try it out. First impressions so far, just looking through it. The brightness on even in full daylight right now is really, really good. Like, it gets way too bright. You actually have to turn it down to about the midpoint. So we got a target out there at 25, and we're just gonna shoot a couple at it, get this thing somewhat on paper, and once we have it on paper, we'll stretch it out, eventually zero it for 100, and I'll give you my thoughts on this thing because I think it's gonna make shooting this gun really nice. Okay, first shot, 25. Let's see what we did. Okay, well, even the first shot, right out of the box, I haven't touched this thing at all, so it must come from factory somewhat zeroed, because that's at 25 and we're a little high. So I'm just gonna back up to 50 and we'll try it from there. Okay, so we're set up at 50 now. Let's see what it'll do at 50. The field of view on this optic's actually pretty big. So far it's quite nice to look through. One thing with zeroing red dots, you want to turn the brightness level way down so you can see what you're actually aiming at. Where'd that go? Why don't I see it? Interesting. I'll walk up there and go check. Okay, so on that last shot, I actually ended up being about 9 inches high and couldn't even see it in the camera. It just skimmed the top of the box. So what we're gonna do is we gotta bring this guy down. Now I purposely didn't bring the instructions just to see if I can figure this thing out without it, because I know most people won't. But up, it says, is to the right, up, or okay, up is counterclockwise, so we need to go clockwise to come down. That's 1 inch, so 4 clicks to an inch at 50. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. We'll put it at 8, see what it does there. This is our third round in sighting this thing in. Normally I can get a bolt action zeroed in less than 5. So we just came down 8 inches, which should put us a little bit high so long as these clicks are true. So let's see what it does. Oh, okay. It said they were half MOA adjustments, but maybe they don't run totally true because I almost went twice as far. An MOA would be 2 clicks, and we're only at 50. Oh shit, maybe it was at 50 yards, not 100. I don't remember. This is why we're doing this. Just to see. Should have paid more attention to the owner's manual, I suppose. So we'll come back up another, what does it say in the camera here? 1, 2, 3.5 inches. So let's do that. Shoot it again. Okay, so we've come back up. Let's see what it does this time. Touch right. Shoot another one just to see if it'll group there. Yeah, okay, so we're grouping in the same spot. So I still need to come up by another inch and a bit, and then we'll come left. 1.5 inches looks like, eh? One more shot. Yeah, we're in the money now. Let's take her out to 100 and make sure she's good out there. Okay, so far, this thing is a dream to shoot with this dot. I mean, it's such a fine aiming point at only 2 MOA for basically zero. Well, there is no magnification. Way crisper than the iron. So I'm gonna range a spot on the hill and we'll put out a fresh target and then we'll get it zeroed for 100. And after that, I brought some steel that we can shoot and see if we can stretch the legs with the red dot. Well, of course, my dumbass would forget the staples. I grabbed the staple gun and I got 5 staples out of it. I guess I should have checked that. But we had some electrical tape in the center console, so we're all good. Classic last minute outing. I put a bit of a bigger center dot on this target. It's like 2 MOA. I also have some 2.5s. As you can tell, I wear glasses, so I'm kind of blind. So being able to see that at 100 meters is going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but we'll go set it out there and take some shots. See if I can give you guys a sense of what exactly it looks like to look through this thing. So very minimal tint, and I'm just trying to get the camera to focus, but I have the dot turned down quite a bit and you can see it's dancing around over there, just moving it so you can see it. Well, that's what I'm looking at. So you got to imagine when you're looking at 100, see that little square right beside the dot? That's my target. I turned it up so the camera could see it a little bit better, but the bloom of the dot on a higher power really covers up your aiming point. So you just turn it down to as low as you can see it, to 0. You can see your target through the lower power of the dot. That being said though, My eyes are terrible, so at 100, that's a poke with my eyeballs on something like as big as 2 inches anyways. I can hardly see it. But we'll take some shots at it and get this thing zeroed in. Okay, so we're out at 100. Let's see if we can get her zeroed. Okay, the side buttons on this red dot are pretty nice because you can access your brightness on your dot really easily. Okay, it's barely visible. I can hardly see it. I actually almost find it easier on the lowest powers to shoot both eyes open. Very gentle recoiling gun. There's like nothing to it. Such a cool caliber, man. Okay, so we're high by, looks like 1, 2, 3. We're high by about 4 inches, and we're to the right by, or to the left by about 3 and change. So we'll make that adjustment here real quick. That was shot number 5 or 6. All in all, it's going pretty smooth. So, was it right? That's where I keep forgetting. Up is counterclockwise, so we got to come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll try 6 for 3 inches. I'm a little high at 100. If these clicks are even at 100, I guess we'll find out. And to the right, we need to come counterclockwise by about 3 inches. Okay, we got that adjusted. Throw another one in the pipe. We'll send another one. Okay, hardly see it. Really helps if your target's backlit too. Okay. Hey, we're almost zeroed. Look at that. We're in the 2 MOA circle. That's legit. These are hand loads. They're 170 grain Sierras. I think they're like their Game Taker or something like that. I forget exactly what they called them. Maybe the Pro Hunter, Sierra Pro Hunter. And it's got 33 grains of IMR 4350, so very old school loading. It's like just a little over 2,000 feet per second. We'll shoot another one, see if she'll group. If I can do my job, I can hardly see when I'm aiming at that far away. Even with my super crappy eyeballs, that's one just below center and one about 1.5 inches away from it at 100. It's pretty good. Like, I'm trying to put it on that orange dot, but my eyes just aren't very good. So when I'm shooting, I'm somewhere in there, and it's just kind of difficult to do it considering I'm visually impaired. I know glasses are supposed to help that, but I'm telling you right now, they don't help that much. I mean, all things considering, being 100 meters, that's pretty good. I mean, with irons with this gun, I had to float the front bead over top of the target and then bring it down to where I wanted to hit because I couldn't actually see what was going on. At least with this, I can see because it's finer. So we'll shoot one more. We're not running supported rear. Maybe I can try with this glove a little bit. And then if we think we're solid, we'll set up some steel and try shooting that. Okay, all in all, that was my first shot. That's my group after I made an adjustment. So that is 2 MOA or under 2 MOA. It's like 1.5 inches at 100 with that red dot. I will say this, with irons, there was no possible way in the world that I could do that. I was getting like 3-inch groups at 100 just because my point of aim was so much bigger. And now with the dot, like the dot is essentially covering this, or at least I'm trying to make it to. So we're actually seeing like accuracy out of the gun, like pretty good accuracy. Like a lot of bolt guns with select ammunition won't even do that. So we'll call that a win. That's pretty sweet. I'm gonna put this at 200 now, and we're gonna shoot at it with a new dot. I'm probably gonna put a dot. I'll explain it in the truck. Okay, so considering this was my first time shooting this thing with an optic, we're gonna stretch it out a bit. The farthest I shot this gun with some 150s was 200 meters, and I was able to hit a 8-inch plate with it, but it was only after like a handful of shots, and I was missing, if the irons were off a little bit, I was missing to the left. So this is gonna be my new point of aim, and I just wanna see how much drop I'm actually getting with a 170 out of this gun. So I'll just mark these old hits. I have a feeling it's probably gonna be either off the paper or right at the bottom of the paper. I bet I'll have at least a foot of drop that far away. So I'm expecting to see impacts down here, or maybe even in the black. But we'll go stretch it out there. I got a 2.5-inch circle to shoot at. It's almost 3 inches, but I should be able to see it that far away with any luck. So we'll walk that out there. Unfortunately, the big camera died. This is a very last minute thing, and I totally forgot to charge it. That, or like when I left the house it said it was charged, but you know how technology lies. So I only used it for 6-7 minutes and she's dead. But I got a problem. We'll set up a GoPro out there so you can see the impacts. Okay, so I've gone and walked it out to a $160, and now we're just gonna back up to 200. It's gonna be really, really hard to see out there. It's so small. So here's the setup. I don't own a shooting mat. It's something I really need to pick up. But the target is way out there. I can hardly see it with the dot. I forgot my rear bag, so we're gonna use some snow pants. And let's see what kind of drop we're gonna get out of this thing way out there. I also forgot to set up the GoPro way out there, so I'll save that for when we shoot some steel. This will give us a good idea of how much I have to hold to hit 200. So in classic fashion, the cold is killing the camera battery, so I stuck it in my pocket for a bit, and I should be able to get the 200-yard impacts, as long as it doesn't die on me instantly. Okay, we're out there at 200. It's recording, but I don't know for how long, so let's make this happen quick. Such a gentle shooting gun. And you know what? The group was actually pretty goddamn good for shooting with a red dot. We got 1, 2, 3. So what is that? 1, 2, 3. Basically just under 3 inches. From there to there would be 3. So we're probably just under 3-inch 3-shot group. Pretty much centered. That was my point of aim. So we didn't actually drop as much as I was thinking. It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only 8 inches of drop at 200 with those 170s. It's not too bad. Maybe it's coming out of the gun a little bit faster than I was thinking it might. That's pretty cool. Stoked on that. That's way better accuracy than I could have ever hoped with irons at 200 meters. So this whole project of bringing the old school lever action into the 21st century is definitely coming together as a win. Now let's go set up some steel. Forgot my paint. This target stand is pretty cool. You guys will like this one, I think. I like it. This is a little DIY target stand. It's pieces of rebar welded together, and this is just some single 2-inch wide flat bar bent into the shape of a 2x6. It's collapsible, and then you can hang whatever you want off of it. My buddy made me this for a Christmas gift, and in the future I think we're going to make these bigger and then attach some rubber to them with targets and build like a KYL rack. But for now, this will work perfect. First time I've used it. It actually has a big 12-inch plate for shooting 1,000. That's what these hooks are for that hang off of it. But today, we'll use it at 100. Repaint this bad boy up. Voila, good to go. I'm putting a lot of faith in this shooting right now. Hopefully no spalling hits this GoPro. It's like brand new. But we'll set it up a little off to the side. Bury this little stand in the snow. Then you guys can watch the impacts. Should be pretty easy to hit a 7-inch steel plate at 100. If I can't hit this, it'd be pretty embarrassing. But it is somewhat realistic because that plate size is essentially like a heart shot on a deer, so let's watch it go. Very good. Nice thing about this red dot is it's really easy to get lined up. I would not be able to do this with iron sights. My eyes aren't good enough. Wouldn't be able to do it this fast. And it just is so nice. If you can see it and it's zeroed, you're gonna hit it. It's 5 dead deer right there. Okay, so the big camera died, unfortunately, and what I'd like to try and show you is what it actually looks like when you're out here looking behind the gun with this dot on it. So we're gonna take a round and we're gonna feed it into the machine. We're gonna try and line it up, pull the trigger, hit the target, and film it with you as the shooter, all with like one hand essentially. This might be kind of hard, but see if we can make it work. Okay, we're loaded. Let's put you behind the gun, line this up best we can, see if we can kill that target out there. Okay, you see it? That was about the hardest thing I've ever had to film in my life, not gonna lie. Pretty cool. So I guess you'd call this mission a success. Bringing this 94 into the 21st century with the red dot, big time win. Way easier to shoot. It's way more comfortable behind the gun. You can get on targets faster. I might move the plates up in a little bit and we'll do some quicker shooting up close, but even just offhand, like we're at 100 meters. See if I can hit it offhand at 100. Just over it. There we go. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I don't claim to be the best shooter in the world, but you can do that. That's a pretty small target. It's only 7 inches, so I'd say we're ready to go and kill some deer with this thing. Definitely a cool idea in my opinion, and I'm stoked that it works as well as it does. Hopefully you guys like this thing. 15 yards. See what we can do for speed with this gun. I haven't shot it in a while, ever since the sight broke. Okay, ready? I'd have a hard time doing that with irons. Okay, so now we're at 30 yards, and I know
shooting up close to 15, like you can do that with irons. Where this thing's going to start to shine is definitely at 30, because now your target acquisition is going to be way faster. So let's see what I can do with 3 rounds on target at 30. Kind of like you're hunting deer and you need to make a quick follow-up shot in the brush. Piece of piss, man. This thing changes the game with this gun. I'm so stoked on this thing. This time we're at 75, but the problem is I only got a handful more of the hand loads I zeroed it with. So we're shooting completely random ammo. So it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Should be able to hit that 7-inch plate, but we'll see what we can do. Okay, maybe now I'm at like 72. I guess. Okay, maybe now I'm at 72 and I put a bullet in the gun. That would help. That one had a bit of a ricochet. Boom! I think I'm going to start shooting this gun a lot more after this. Oh, I missed that one. Some of these are going high now, even at this distance. These are all completely random. Like, oh. Might have to let the old girl cool down a little bit. She is smoking. So the gun's gotten pretty warm, but we'll try 3 totally random bullets because before I leave, I want to try the remaining 6 I have at that plate at 200 and see if I can hit it with that drop we figured out. But let's try 3 at 75. I think these are 150, so they're going a lot faster, and I don't even know if they're the same. Like, they're in a, I bought a bunch of bullets for 25 cents a piece that are super old and all decrepit and in like the same box, so we're just gonna get rid of them. 75 with unzeroed ammunition. Try that. Nope. I think they're going over it. Yep. I held at the bottom of the plate on that last one and I hit it. I think I also hit the bolt, so our target's down. I'll have to go fix it and then we'll see if we can set up the 200. That was pretty cool. So I went and walked my plate all the way back out to 200 meters again. So let's see if we can do the damage. The cold has killed all of the batteries except for my phone. So if I hit it, you'll hear the ding. All right, here goes nothing. 200, way out there. Losing light, sun went behind the hill. I came out here with only a couple hours to get this all done, so saying I'm doing pretty good so far, all in all. One in the pipe. See if we can hit 200 with the old 30-30 on a 7-inch plate. I had about 9 inches of drop, so I'm gonna hold basically like a half a plate high. See what we can do. Just off the right edge, I think. Got it. As you can see, we had quite a bit of fun. That was well worth it. We're losing our light. Gonna have an amazing sunset tonight. And I'm out here to witness it, so top notch. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. it was quite a bit of fun filming it. So I think mission accomplished with bringing the 94 to the future. We're hitting steel 7-inch blade at 200. It's a lot faster up close. I get better accuracy with it. Everything all said, it's kind of just a big win. So if you guys want to do the same, hopefully this was helpful. It's well worth it. Sight's only about $300 and you can come out, have a blast with it. I'll probably be shooting this gun a lot more now. This brings a smile to my face. So thanks so much for watching, you guys, and we'll catch you in the next video. For those of you who do not live around here, I figured you might appreciate this little bit of some footage of the sunset this particular evening. It was spectacular. Wintertime in Canada really is one of the most pretty places in the world. Let's go home. If you made it to the end, I appreciate you watching all the way through. This type of content is new to the channel, and it's something that I really do enjoy making. If you enjoyed it in any way, shape, or form, please consider leaving a comment. It would be much appreciated for the feedback. This video was brought to you by Wild Element.